You're sitting at your kitchen table late at night, and everything is finally quiet. No notifications, no distractions, no excuses left. Just you, your thoughts, and your money. The laptop in front of you has been open for a while, but you haven't really touched it. You've been putting this moment off for months, maybe longer, because deep down, you already know this isn't just about numbers. This is about facing reality. But tonight, for whatever reason, you decide you're done avoiding it. You start opening accounts one by one. Your checking account, your savings account, your retirement account, your credit cards, your loans. You pull everything together and begin adding it up. Assets on one side, debts on the other. And then you get a number, just one number, and that number hits differently depending on what it says. Maybe it's higher than you expected, and for a moment you feel relief, maybe even a little pride. Or maybe it's lower than you thought, and suddenly your chest tightens and you feel the urge to close the laptop and distract yourself with anything else. But here's the truth that most people never hear. That number is not just a score. It's not just a financial stat you track once a year and forget about. That number is a reflection of the life you're actually living right now. It determines whether unexpected expenses are minor inconveniences or full-blown crises. It determines whether opportunities feel exciting or completely out of reach. It shapes your stress, your options, your freedom, and even your confidence. And the reality is, every level of net worth feels completely different from the inside, even if it looks similar from the outside. My name is Trey, and I spend a lot of time thinking about how to improve my money mindset. So let's walk through what these levels actually look like, not just on paper, but in real life. Level 1. At the very beginning, there's a level that a lot of people don't talk about openly, and that's negative net worth. This is where many people start, especially in their early 20s. You've graduated, you've got your first real job, and on paper, things seem like they're moving in the right direction. But once the paychecks start coming in, reality sets in quickly. Taxes take a big chunk. Insurance takes another. Rent, food, transportation, everything adds up faster than you expected. And sitting in the background are your debts. Student loans, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. A credit card balance that started small but never fully went away. Suddenly you realize that even though you're earning money, you're still behind. What makes this level particularly difficult is that the system itself seems to work against you. When you're short on cash and something small goes wrong, you don't just deal with the problem, you pay extra for it. Overdraft fees, late fees, interest rates that climb higher the longer you carry balances. And if things get really tight, the options available to you often come with even higher costs, making it harder to get ahead. At this stage, the goal isn't investing or building wealth. The goal is stabilization. It's about stopping the financial bleeding, reducing high-interest debt, and creating just enough breathing room to start moving forward. Level 2. As you begin to make progress, you eventually reach a point where your net worth crosses into positive territory. This is a huge milestone, even if it doesn't feel like one at first. You've paid off some debt, you've built a small savings buffer, and for the first time you feel a sense of relief. But this is also where a subtle trap appears, because while things are technically better, they are still fragile. A single unexpected expense can erase months of progress, and yet, emotionally, it feels like you've earned the right to relax a little. Maybe you upgrade your lifestyle just slightly, a nicer apartment, a more comfortable car payment, a few extra conveniences. None of it feels excessive on its own, but together it starts to eat into the small safety net you worked so hard to build. This is where many people stall without realizing it. They mistake relief for stability. They feel better, so they assume they are secure. But true stability requires more than just being out of debt. It requires a buffer that can absorb life's unpredictability without knocking you backward. Level 3. As your net worth continues to grow, you enter a stage where things begin to feel more tangible. You have real savings now, maybe even 5 figures. You've developed better habits, increased your income, and started making more intentional decisions. For the first time, it feels like you're not just surviving, you're progressing. But there's an important shift that needs to happen here, and not everyone makes it. Up to this point, most of your progress has come from your own effort. You earned more, spent less, and saved the difference. But now the next level requires your money to start working for you. If your savings just sit in a low interest account, they lose value over time due to inflation. Even though the number in your account doesn't go down, its purchasing power slowly erodes. This is where investing becomes essential. Retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, employer matches, these are the tools that begin turning your savings into something that grows on its own. It may not feel dramatic at first. The gains can seem small relative to your total, but this is the foundation of long-term wealth. Level 4. Eventually, you reach a stage where, from the outside, it looks like you've made it. You have a stable career, a decent income, maybe a home, maybe a newer car, and growing retirement accounts. On paper, everything looks successful. But inside, the experience can feel very different. Your income might be higher than it's ever been, but so are your expenses. Fixed costs start to dominate your monthly budget. Mortgage payments, car payments, insurance, utilities, maintenance. Everything is accounted for before you even have a chance to decide what to do with your money. And what's left over often feels smaller than expected. This is where many people find themselves confused. They're earning more than they ever have, yet they don't feel financially free. That's because higher income alone doesn't create wealth. What matters is how much of that income is actually being kept and invested. At this level, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing you've arrived simply because your lifestyle looks impressive. But in reality, you may have just taken on a series of expensive commitments that limit your flexibility. Level 5. Then there's the next stage, where your net worth crosses into 6 figures. This is a significant milestone, but it often feels underwhelming when you first reach it. You've worked for years, made sacrifices, stayed consistent, and now you're here. But life doesn't suddenly change overnight. The real difference at this level happens gradually and mostly behind the scenes. Your investments start generating returns that are noticeable. At first, they may cover small expenses. Then, over time, they grow larger. This is the point where compounding begins to accelerate. The money you've invested starts earning money, and that money begins earning even more. Progress that once felt slow begins to pick up speed. However, this is also where a new challenge emerges. As your income increases, so does the temptation to upgrade your lifestyle. It rarely happens all at once. Instead, it creeps in slowly. A slightly better apartment, a newer car, more frequent spending on convenience or comfort. Individually, these changes feel justified, but collectively, they can quietly reduce your ability to build wealth. This phenomenon, often called lifestyle creep, is one of the biggest obstacles to long-term financial growth. What separates people who continue building wealth from those who plateau at this stage often comes down to systems rather than motivation. Relying on discipline alone is difficult because every decision requires effort. But when you automate your finances, when money is consistently directed towards savings and investments before you have a chance to spend it, you remove much of that friction. You no longer have to rely on willpower every month. Instead, your financial progress becomes part of your routine. Over time, these consistent, automated actions compound just like your investments do. The most important thing to understand through all of this is that each level feels normal when you're living in it. Whatever your current situation is, it feels like your baseline. It feels like this is just how life works. But in reality, it's simply a reflection of your current financial position and the decisions that got you there. Change those decisions, and over time, you change the level you operate on. The number you calculate on that quiet night at your kitchen table is not permanent. It's not a fixed identity. It's a snapshot of where you are right now and a starting point for where you can go next.